Cox after Wednesday's practice. We'll go ahead and let me know in the chat if you've got a question for him, and we'll get started. We'll go ahead and get started with Jake Curtis. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, Max Duggan is a different kind of quarterback than Strong. Can you talk about the problems he presents for a defense?
Yeah, he's a very good player. He makes plays with his arm and his feet. He can throw the ball quickly and get it out of his hand on the perimeter, some of the RPO game and hitting those things, and then he launches it down the field. So he's really a complete player. He can run the ball. He runs well. He's fast, and he's built. You know, he's not a slight guy by any means. So he's a talented player.
Okay, Jake, any follow-up?
Yeah. When you have a game where you're traveling and you couple time zones and the weather's a little different, do you avoid those issues with your players so it doesn't become an issue in their minds? Or do you try to impress upon them the things they need to do to prepare for that?
Yeah, we talk about it early in the week. On Monday, what the schedule is going to be. There's no hiding from the time zone change or the fact that it's going to be hot. So we acknowledge it, talk about the schedule we're going to have during the week, how to prepare our bodies to play in that environment. And then we really don't talk about it again. So we acknowledge it and then move forward.
Okay, we'll go to Trace Travers.
Yeah, Coach, are there any updates on injuries, any changes over the last week?
Do you have anybody specifically, Trace, that you're thinking about?
I guess Chris Brooks was the one that I was thinking of.
He'll be going. Chris Brooks is going.
I don't think there's anybody else that's really been public.
Yeah, everybody else we're anticipating being good to go for the game. Yeah, if there's something.
Maldonado?
Doubtful for the game.
Okay. And with that, talked a bit about Duggan, but what about their stable of running backs? You have Evans and DeMercado, and they'll run a couple of other guys in there as well.
Yeah,
what do you see from that group?
They're deep and they're talented guys. I mean, they're strong runners. They're productive. I think you can see that on tape. The stats tell that as well. And they got more than one, as you mentioned. So offensively, they got a lot of weapons. I mean, quarterback, stable of running backs, very dynamic on the perimeter at receivers. They got different styles of receivers. They got big guys. They got kind of some smaller, quick guys. Tight ends, good player. So yeah, it's a complete team, complete offense.
And just on the defensive side for them, they don't, I guess you can see weights on a piece of paper, but do they play bigger than their weight on the defensive line up front?
Yeah, in terms of,
because they may average about the same as what you saw with Nevada this past week.
Yeah, I would say the explosiveness, quick twitch, power from that group at TCU is noticeable. You know, the explosiveness coming off the line of scrimmage, how they strike people, their athleticism, running the ball down laterally. They got some very, very good athletes there.
Thank you.
Okay, David Bush.
Yeah, Coach, you guys leaked a punt return in the second quarter Saturday that turned out to really hurt you. And they have a really dynamic punt returner. First of all, how good is he, and how are you going to have to make any changes in your punt coverage?
Yeah, he's very good. Again, another, I think when you look at all their athletes, whether it's the corners and the receivers, the backs, they're very quick, explosive guys. And so that makes for good return units generally. And you made a great point. I mean, our punt team, and some of it's on the coverage, but some of it's on the punt as well. And so we have to do a good job punting the ball, and then we got to do a good job covering. So it takes the entire unit to play good punt coverage, and we'll need them to be at their best against a really good team and a really good returner.
Did you make any changes in the return team?
On our punt team,
Personnel. In
you
the
can see a
punt-
couple different guys
punt-
rotating through there. Yeah, that's likely.
Okay. All right, thanks,
Okay.
Coach.
Okay, guys, any final questions for Coach? Let me know in the chat. I'll give you a couple seconds here. It's like Jake has one more. Go ahead, Jake. You're on mute, Jake.
Could you just comment on Hodges Tomlinson? People tend not to throw in his direction.
Yeah, he is it's one of the guys I was speaking of. He's a very, very quick twitch guy. Smooth pedal. He's sticky in coverage, and you're talking about number 1, correct? Yeah. Yeah. He's really good. They play him in man a lot, and sometimes he'll have some help, sometimes he won't, and he's very, very sticky in coverage. He's got really quick feet, and he's a very good player.
Okay, Trace, go ahead.
Yeah, just how, after you guys had a loss on Saturday, how have the guys responded in the few days since?
Yeah, certainly a disappointed group on Monday, as we all were. But like we've seen in the past, they've always practiced hard, and that was no different. This week, I thought we've had good energy at practice, focus in the meetings, which is what we're looking for. And we appreciate that about our team. And we very rarely has there been days coming off the field where I thought they've been loafing and weren't practicing hard. We've had, a couple in 5 years where it felt not real good, but they've always come back and practiced with good energy. And it's been no different this week. And now we got to take that practice and apply it to the game. And it's one thing to practice with great energy and effort, but as we know, effort and energy alone don't win. I mean, we got to go out and play really good football against a really good team in order to get the win. So that's been our preparation throughout the week, and we had a good practice today. We'll have another one tomorrow and get down to Texas.